Today, we're going to be talking about why so many animals are suffering. Why do so many of our pets suffer? Why do we see so many animals out there in the world suffering? Why are strays suffering? And we're actually going to talk about all of it. And this is something that I don't totally want to talk about, but there are so many questions that you all have about it. And when I share this amount of information, the questions always come in right after about, but wait, what about this? But this animal suffers, and I saw that. What about animals we eat? All of these things. And so we're going to do it. We are going to do it. And you can still, I feel resistance to doing it because there's a part of me that I don't want people to be mad at me. I don't love, and I also do love what I'm about to say about why so many animals suffer, why we see animals in pain. If you're here watching this video, you're somebody who, feels for animals, loves animals. Either you have like this very dear animal in your life or had this very dear animal in your life that moved your soul, or you have that and you're like me and every animal moves your soul, and every animal out there who might possibly maybe be in pain moves your soul. I mean, I'm somebody who I can even put together an imaginary scenario of an animal in pain that I don't even know if it exists, and I get upset. And I bet you are somebody who is the same way. So people like us, we see all of these animals in pain. We want to help all of these animals in pain. And it's very hard because there's these kind of like two different ways that we have to go about helping animals in pain and pets in pain. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what's kind of why animals are in this place of suffering, so many of them. And if you've watched my other videos, I kind of allude to this, but I'm just going to say it straight out. So first of all, animals have mastered unconditional love. They've mastered it. They hold that love for themselves fully and completely. Animal souls are embodying here with this whole piece of them intact. We are not, right? We're coming in and we're feeling bad about ourselves and questioning ourselves and feeling like we're not good enough and we're a failure and we didn't do it right, and we beat ourselves up and all that. That all comes from a place of not having mastered unconditional love. But animals, who I guess in my head are right here, they have mastered unconditional love. And they're choosing to incarnate here, to be in our lives, to be our pets, to be our farm animals, to be our stray animals, with a bigger intention in mind. At the soul level, they're choosing to incarnate here to help us become better people, to help us master unconditional love like they have. Now, you've heard me say this before, if this is my first video that you've watched. And I always kind of am like, so yeah, they've mastered unconditional love, and then we move on. But now I'm going to talk about like the reality behind that. And the reality behind that means when it's your pet, you're in charge of this and you're doing everything you can to the best of your ability, even when you make mistakes, to help your animal not suffer. And yet sometimes they still suffer, but you did your best. Even when you made a choice that you knew was wrong, you made that choice because you thought it was the best choice at the time. Like that's literally like you're doing your best. And so with our pets, there can be suffering. And that suffering is there when it occurs to help us grow and evolve in some way. And I hear myself, I hear what I'm saying, and I hear how sucky it is. But if you can take every single thing that your pet does as something to help you learn from, if you can look at your pet like they are a little Buddha, a little Yoda, or a big Yoda, depending on how the size of that pet, and go, all right, this has been horrible. This was a horrible experience in my physical world, and I hated it, and I feel so terrible, and I'm so upset, and this sucked. And I know there's something more for me here to learn, to grow, to use to become a better person. If I can take that, then I'm actually going to benefit in the way that the animals sacrifice themselves through that pain to help me benefit. They are sacrificing themselves to help us grow and evolve. And I know it sucks. And I know that I'm going to get angry comments. But they're here to help us. We are the ones who are messed up. It was really interesting. I was doing a podcast the other day with this woman, and she's amazing. And I was saying the things that I've learned from the animals, and she was like, oh, me too, me too, me too. And then we got to this one part, and she was like, well, obviously, human souls are more evolved than animal souls. I stayed quiet. I don't believe that. In the 3D world, humans are absolutely more capable. We've got thumbs, we've got technology, we've got all this stuff. But at the soul level, we do not love ourselves. We are not in touch with ourselves. We are not in touch with the universe, spirit, God, whoever it is. Like animals, we are not in touch with ourselves like the animals want us to be. They don't want me to be embarrassed for crying. They want me to believe that everything that I do is awesome, no matter what emotion comes up. They don't want you to beat yourself up because of something that happened. So that's how it is with our pets. And I know that many of you have had bad experiences with your pets passing, and that sucks. And at the 3D physical world level, absolutely, that sucks. And I'm so sorry that you had to experience that. And what can you take from it to learn from, to be a better person, to be more conscious? How can it help you place yourself in the world differently? Does it mean that you listen to that voice in the back of your head better? Does it mean you speak up better? Does it mean that you walk away from that person who judged you for wanting to do things a certain way? What does it mean? What can you learn from this? What can you learn at the deepest level about who you are from that suffering that beloved animal experienced in your care, or as they passed, or in whatever situation it is? Now, we're going to talk about the thing that I do not want to talk about at all. There's two things. We're going to talk about stray animals, and we're going to talk about eating animals. Subjects I avoid. I always avoid them, and I avoid them. So first of all, let's talk about the eating of animals. Many of you ask, are you vegan? They're like, you can't be an animal communicator if you're not vegan, et cetera, et cetera. Like, for some reason, these go together. I am vegan. And it doesn't matter in the sense that it only matters for me that I am doing what is right for me. So that's the piece. Now, here's the thing. Animals are sacrificing themselves to help us grow and evolve. So that does also include eating animals. It does also include the eating of animals, the treatment of animals. And it more includes the treatment of the animals versus the eating of the animals. And this is something, again, I've never talked about. If you look at a hawk, the hawk eats the baby birds, right? The hawk is, that's a natural thing that happens. But what the hawk doesn't do is grow the baby birds or hurt the baby birds for months, or, all these other things that some people are doing to animals in order to eat them. So it's not about not eating animals, or it is about not eating animals. What it is about is how you feel, what it means to you, what your experience is, and knowing that these animals a lot of animals are coming in, they're incarnating, and they're choosing to go through challenging situations in order to get you to go, do I want to go about it this way? Do I want to do it a different way? Because I don't like what I just saw or what I just heard or whatever it is. It doesn't mean you have to go vegan. what it means is making a conscious choice, knowing that animals are sacrificing themselves and suffering in order to wake us all up. Doesn't mean you go about things differently. What can you learn from this animal that you're knowing is hurting? Well, how can you grow? How can you evolve? How can you become more conscious? And every little decision that you make along that road is positive for you, helps you become more conscious, and adds up so that eventually less and less animals have to suffer to get us to grow and evolve. The last piece is this idea of the strays. So many people are saying, okay, animals choose when they're going to die. They cross who there's a big concern for stray animals, and oh yeah, I get it. I have that concern too. My heart goes out to any stray animal ever. I spent a lot of time in Costa Rica, and I have to be like, I'm just going to connect with that dog just to make sure everything's okay. Like I really feel it. I feel everything. And my human part of me, my human worry part gets into, are they okay? What's going on? Da, da, da. And I can't help every stray animal. And in India, I know a lot of people are writing me about India, stray animals in India that are also suffering. And they are suffering. And there's two ways to help them. There's the way of doing rescues and feeding them and doing all of that 3D level physical world stuff, right? That stuff that my heart breaks. I can't do it because it's too hard. And I am grateful to the people who can. Because that's not me. I can't go to Costa Rica and work at the sanctuary or the rescue and help them in that way. I can't. But there's another way. And there's another way. And that other way is when you are moved by an animal, you see that animal suffering, you see that animal, or, let's say they are at a rescue and you see them suffering and you're not able to take them home. What can you learn from that? What can you do about it? How do you want to grow and evolve and be different and master and feel good about yourself as a result of that experience of that animal suffering? You can't fix and rescue every animal that is suffering. You're a human being. You can do it for lots of them, but you can't do it for all of them. You can, however, do you. And the more of us that do us, the more of us that are aware and learning and looking at the animals like, you know what, you're doing this to help us be better people. What can I take from this? What do I need to know here? The more of us that do that and become conscious, the less the animals need to be hurting in the way that they are. There's like this inversely proportionate, you know what I mean, where a lot of animals are suffering right now in all different ways. We know science, we know conditions for eating, we know, and again, I'm not saying don't eat. I'm saying look at what you're doing. I'm definitely emotional. But the better of a person that you can be, the more you can learn from them, the more you can look at yourself and take what you need to in order to master what you need to master within yourself to become closer to unconditional love. The more you do that, the vibration of mass consciousness raises. And as the vibration of mass consciousness raises, the suffering of animals goes down. It's there because of us. So if you want to learn more about this, I have a video called Did Your Animal Choose You? That I think would be helpful. It's not as emotional as this, but I do think it would be helpful, and I will put it in the place. I apologize for being so emotional. I didn't totally really want to do it, but now I have this out there. I know some of you are going to be really, really mad. I know some of you are going to say that's not fair, and I agree. I don't think it's fair. This is just what the animals have shared with me again and again in my readings and my connections with them, that they're here for us. They are the evolved souls at the deeper level. They are the evolved ones. We are the ones who need to come up to speed. They are not below us. They are not our servants. They are the masters of unconditional love, and they're leading the way for us.